The specific client that we're talking about here, the Freedom Trail, had a really unique business issue to deal with, and that was that they give tours in downtown Boston. The tours are conducted by what they refer to as players, but they are actually actors dressed in period costumes. They will gather a group of folks together and walk the streets of Boston. Very difficult for them to transact the sale of that tour if they're walking the streets of Boston, number one. And number two, the second issue that they had was that any handheld device that they wanted to use to transact the sale of a tour had to be something that had to be lightweight and something that they could conceal, because they had people who were dressed as Benjamin Franklin, and clearly Benjamin Franklin didn't walk around with a handheld computer. So the PSS Mobility solution was a perfect fit for them on both those levels.
The MOBILeSTORE sales device has allowed the Freedom Trail Foundation to sell in locations that were never possible to sell in. So it's really allowed us to increase our ticket sales because we have the freedom to be mobile while we're selling.
Daffy's original requirement was to generate a markdown tag and be able to track this back to a centralized database. This also needed to be integrated into their existing POS system and then ported forward to any new POS system which they were moving to at the time.
The Daffy stores would not know how to function without the use of the PSS Mobility product. The product they wouldn't know what to do. Before, they used to have to go up to the registers with everything, have to scan it through the registers. Now they're at the back door, they're in the storage rooms. They have full flexibility throughout the facility to do what they want to do. It speeds things up. We're paperless. We don't have to use the paper anymore. I can't imagine not having it.
Grove Products was shipping their products to a distribution center. They needed a barcoding system to help them control this and keep inventory, as well as to track the shipments. We could print the barcodes, but we couldn't set up a system for the inventory or the tracking, but Jeff at PSS could.
Grove Products is very happy with this new system. It saved us a lot of time. We're able to track our inventory very quickly, and we've been very happy with mobile inventory and PSS.
We were first approached by one of the firefighters at Northborough Fire Department, a young fellow named Jamie, who came to us and said, "We are looking for a way to automate the process of inventorying every item that we have to inspect, so we can have an inventory and also a record of when these items were inspected." Now these particular items that he's referring to are hose, personal protective equipment. The personal protective equipment is masks, air bottles, the boots and coats and pants that they wear. They wanted to track communications equipment, radios, and other equipment that we call generically fire department equipment.
Working with PSS has been excellent from the first kickoff meeting right through the actual use of the product. They've been there every step of the way with us, helping us with special needs. One of them was getting a claw sticker for our personal protective ensembles, right down to support with using the handheld devices.
MOBILeENFORCEMENT is designed for municipalities who currently use some form of manual ticket generation for an environment. This could be specific to towns, cities, universities, colleges, resort areas, anywhere where you have a physical parking meter and an environment where someone has to regularly check those parking meters would be a good fit for the MOBILeENFORCEMENT product.
I was probably amazed at how really simple and easy it was to use. I thought it was going to be a little bit more cumbersome than it is, and I also thought it was going to be a little bit harder to get the reporting out of the system that we would need for the billing company. But to my surprise, it was a very simple and easy system to use.
I believe that Westminster chose PSS and our product MOBILeACCESS because they were looking for a technology-forward company that was able to adapt to their requirement. Josh Hall, the director of the DPW at Westminster, is very, very technology-forward, very knowledgeable, does a great job. He knew enough to know what he wanted, but he also knew enough to know he didn't know exactly what technology would best deliver that. So he's looking for a company that not only could do what he asked, but was able to adapt as he recognized his requirement may change slightly from the inception of the idea to the completion, which it did.
The way MOBILeACCESS works is the user is issued a tag that they're going to place on their windshield. Inside this tag there's an RFID chip. It's a passive tag. It's not on all the time. The user approaches the gate or the transfer station, and what they're going to basically do is they're going to pass over a sensor in the ground. When they hit the sensor there, the sensor then sends a signal up to the MOBILeTY suite, at which point it knows that there's a car present and to turn on the RFID reader. If the tag's active, it then records the data that it captures. It will then send a signal back over to the gate and open the gate for the user to enter.
Scholastic Book, on average, does over 100,000 events a year. They do those events in schools using school personnel. As a result, they needed a system that was extremely simple because the people who are doing this are librarians, volunteers. They are not trained on the system as part of their job. Their job is to do what they do. The book fair is an adjunct to whatever they provide as a service to the school.